what's up, Michael? Hey, ISO, what's up? Oh, nice, man. That's awesome. Alrighty, I think we're ready. 1 second. What's up, everybody? My name is Alckemy. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be doing some beat production, I don't know, we're going to be getting down on some kind of shenanigans or whatever. I don't necessarily know what we're doing, but something is going to happen today, and we'll be having some fun and just messing around. Does anybody have anything that you all want to see today, or as a starting point, or something of the sort? I might just mess around in the Digitact for a bit, and I'm not trying to integrate this in my main thing, but I am trying to just use it as a jamming tool, just for funsies. Fuck, I need a new tripod. I need a tripod so that way I can at least get the thing on screen. That's like the one thing that I don't like about the Digitact, unfortunately, or like working with hardware in general, is that it is very difficult to make interesting while I'm staring at a box and you all are just looking at, well, essentially nothing. That being said, maybe we can just use it as a starting point, and then I can break off and make different variations of it, or, you know, something cool, or, you know, add effects, or, yeah, there's something along those lines. That seems interesting. I don't have an agenda aside from that, so we're gonna kind of just start here, and this is a thing that's like saying, hey, why don't you fuck with me for a bit and do something cool. Okay, let's get some samples in here. Oh, you did? Yeah, I'm glad you told me, because I actually checked this beforehand, and sorry, DM. I checked this beforehand and nobody posted anything. So, hey, robot, what's up? Oh, this is dope, dude. Yeah, I like this, man. You should. I want to hear more from this from you, or like I would love to see you develop that idea. You all should definitely post to the quick play spells. Thank you for the reminder, or for the like heads up, because otherwise I would have missed it. Let's go. Yes. Let's get some kicks in here. So we're gonna go load to project, rename, move selected, upload here. It looks like this isn't making any sound, and it should be. Whatever. We'll just get some of these in here and see what happens. I'm gonna go function yes. I'm gonna set this to A. Load to project. Oh, auto preview is turned on. That's just not doing anything. All right, so we got a few kicks. Hey, Danny, what's up? Glad you're doing good. I'm having a complete turnaround in my life. That's good, right? I think. Let's get some claps and snares in here. going to take a bunch of these. And we're also going to load to bank A. I didn't do music for like half a year. Oh my god, I would die. Alright, so we got some of that in here. Let's get some hats. Yes. And I think that I'm just going to stick with... I think that I'm just going to stick with... drums for now. Have I mentioned there's no McDonald's in the city that I live in? I would consider that a blessing. Honestly, that sounds more of a blessing to me than anything. Breaks and drums, so maybe we can get some stuff in here. I'm kind of curious why my preview isn't working though. Just get some randoms in here. And I think that we're like not going to use subs. We're gonna go function yes. We'll set this to B or C. Sorry, I know that you all can't see what I'm doing. Just give me a sec. I'm almost done. I'm just loading a project up. And getting everything in here. So something that I've realized with the Digitact is I actually make everything, like I make my kicks and snares go on track 1 as opposed to having them go to 2 different tracks. Because that way if I want to do side chaining or something, I can send them to the same thing. But I guess it wouldn't matter since I'm doing this in the DAW. So there's that. But I think just for habitual practices, that would be good. So yeah, let's get some drums going. And then... It's actually not terrible, but... Go. Yeah. I guess maybe we will divide these into different tracks. That sounds pretty good. Alright, let's get some of this in here. That's pretty good. Let's go to C. Purchasing Shaperbox 3, but should I buy Snapback? Is that the addition to that? Thank you for the donation, by the way. Once you layer a transient and shift the snapback to a sound. I think it just depends on how much it is in addition to that. But probably not, to be honest. Let's maybe try this on repitch. Okay, maybe not. Let's maybe go back to that one shot. To where if we slow it down, it'll... Sick. That was super awesome. Let's go ahead and get something else in here. Let's... Page... Copy pattern. $32. Oh, I copied the pattern. How do I copy the page? Copy? Okay. No. Here. Pattern. No. I want to copy the page. Shit. Where's Jazz when I need him? Let me just look this up very quickly. Hello? To copy page. Oh, you just have to hit circle. Okay. Wait. What? Oh, this was last stream? I was like, what the fuck? Okay. It's quite weird that currency is displayed in Korean won sign rather than KRW. How is music coming along? Paste. No, your music. Let me see. Maybe on this one. That's a sick beat. Let's go to page 2. And okay, so make that big, make that off, make that big. That big. Make that off. Make that big. Make that off. Turn that off. Turn the chorus on just a little bit. That's sick. I think I want to do a little bit more with the hi-hat though. Dope. I'm trying to make sure that on this is off as well because I don't want that delay to overlap. I want it to be like and then turn off. So I don't think that I want to do the bass in here. But what I might do is just play around with some other atmospheres or something and see if I can get that inside of this. I don't remember if I uploaded any or not, but we'll see. Well, that's kind of cool. So maybe I'll add that as well. Okay, so why is this? Oh, maybe it needs to be on this step. There we go. Okay, got it. There we go. Now we've got a little bit more in here. That's a kind of a little bit more interesting. Yeah, again, it's kind of frustrating that none of this is playing. I would like to at least be able to hear. But to be honest with you, I think that I just probably need to turn it off and then turn it back on again, which is what I might do. Let me just try this very quickly. Let's see if I can get this to re-register. Okay. Let's try that again. Drive, Obsidian. Try pads and textures. Oh, it is previewing, but only on this. That's annoying. Cool. We're going to load this to the project as well, probably to D. Hoist runes on Discord, somehow so janky and so good at the same time. Shout out to Hoist. Hoist was actually the one that got me on the label. Very kind people from Italy, which I would say, hey, if you're looking to get signed, like, send your demos to Discord. And I would do it now because there's still a small label. So I think that they're taking a lot more yeses as opposed to, you know, being super established. But my thing was, Cage actually got me on the label. I know that I said Hoist, but he was the person that I talked to listen to my stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'll release my EP with them. Maybe not. I might do some other stuff with them. I'm not really sure. But yeah, big ups to them. They come in here sometimes. Great people. Okay, so now that we have that, we are going to mute this again. And then let's go ahead and see if we can get another sample in here. Wait, what? Oh no, this didn't load. Fuck. God damn it. Okay, well, let's do that. Do it again. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I'm just gonna throw a bunch of stuff in here. There we go. Yes, 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 yes. Which, again, I apologize that you all can't see what I'm doing right now. Function, yes. Go D, yes. Load, yes. Okay, there we go. And then I'll go ahead and get some more pad stuff in here. And I'm going to be less picky this time and just put anything in here. But yeah, it's pretty nice to be able to just go through this and then be like, just choose from a bank of samples and try to find the best thing. And that's part of the reason why I like working on the Digitac sometimes. I'm trying to think. I've only actually made one song with the Syntact when I had it. And that was when Grady and I did, or G-Space and I rather, as you all might know him, did our collab. Just gonna kind of throw anything in here this time. Again, I'm sorry that you all can't see this. I need to get like one of those overhead, or I need to ask how EasyBot does it and maybe like see if he can take a picture of what his setup is or something, because samples exist, exceed available memory. Yes. Oh wow, I reached the memory cap on this? Holy shit. That's crazy. I think that this will just load until the memory becomes maximum, and then we'll just work with what we have. I think that was the big issue that I ran into whenever I had the Poly in play all those years back, was that the memory on it was just so... It was the only thing that you could really do is just get drum samples on it. And I was like, okay, well, that's cool. It was like a little beat sketcher or whatever, but it's not really a lot to work with. Okay, so I got half of those in there, but that should be more than enough. Let's go into here. Go back to D. Let's set this to warp. This could be kind of cool to do an amplitude, source, bank, play mode, tune, sample level. Yes. Nice. And then we can take off the release of that. Dope. So let's go here. Let's replace this with something else. Hmm. That's pretty cool. Mhm. That's still out of key, but it's pretty cool. I'm still just kind of fishing for a hook. Oh no, man, what? That might actually be kind of cool. Thanks for the follow. So this is kind of cool because even though I don't like this sample anymore, I think that it's kind of whatever. We can still keep all the same settings on this while we kind of... That's sick. Sick. Okay. Just toss this in here, and instead of doing this on the kick replacer, we'll send this to the Digitac 2. Fuck. We still have to have a replacer. I suppose I could reroute this, but I think what I'll do instead is just put a replacer on this. Set the mix here. Go group. Mute. Cancel. Copy. Paste. Why? Man. That's annoying. Okay. So we'll go to the Digitac 2 and then go to the chains, track 1, replacer. And then on this one, we'll do the same thing. Set this on 3. Or rather 5 and 6. Let's try that again. Cool. So we can record all that out now, and then we can try something a little different. Yeah, I just wanted to spend some time on this just to kind of, get something up and going and have a cool little beat or whatever to kind of fuck around with, which is pretty fun. Um There we go. There's our drums. Or sorry, our kicks. That's pretty sick. I like that a lot. Is there anything else that was in this? Okay, we can turn that off. Yeah, baby. Okay, so now that we have that, we can kind of just keep that at the bottom. Come back here, go to drums, kicks, replacer, snares, replacer. Kicks, snares, percussion. That's pretty badass. That sound right? not that melody, but just that G sharp. Wait, do I have a random phase? Oh, I do. I already have that. Okay. I was like, I'm pretty much remaking this twice. Yeah, this one is going to be a little bit more of the, a little bit more of that, like, warping sound. Yeah, the only thing that I don't really like is that plasticky top end. So we're going to try to fix that with the OTT. Yeah, I think... I think I like that better, just like that instead. We're going to create another one here. Change the phase so that way it's doing something different. And I'm just going to modulate the mix of this so that way we get some of that high end back. And that way we get some of that cool, like, it's a little more like subtle neuro stuff. But you get some cool phrases like that, and then we can try to adjust that a bit. I was like, where is the controls on it? I did the wrong thing. Sorry. That's pretty sick. What is this? That sounds pretty cool. I don't think it fits for the context of the track, but that is a cool sound. We'll call it Cool Gurgler. I think that perhaps maybe the Hey, what's up, Artifacts? How was your stream? was that? Dude, it is so hard to combine like melodic elements with neuro shit sometimes. Yeah, it I don't know, for me, like, unless if I do like really subtle or like chill neuro shit, if I'm trying to make like you know, something like that, like I really have to dial back on anything melodic. It has to be super simple. Just because like you're trying to fit too much shit in, you know? Like, I mean, I suppose you could do like a heavy bassline thing or whatever and then like go into the music, but you still need to create an aesthetic to where they both match. You know, like this stuff that I'm working with now, like it's not gonna work in a heavy tune because it's too soft. So like if you are gonna use melodic elements and stuff, your instrumentation needs to match like the world that you build for those kinds of basses and stuff. And that was one of the big things that I was missing was I would make a lot of like pads and like, you know, ethereal stuff. And I wasn't really focusing on like creating instruments that, you know, were like really sharp stabs or like really distorted basses that weren't neuro stuff, like things that complemented the vibe that I was going for. It was always just drums, bass, and then just like cloudy melodic shit. And that's why I could never like make them fit because the juxtaposition was too much of a stretch. But, you know, if you have something that's like that should be a song, to be honest. Um, yeah, but you're right, and that's what I'm getting at. I'm not saying that you can't, but that's why I struggle so hard. You know, is to create something, um, one or like if it went to the melodic ends, like the heaviness of the track really suffered for me. Like every track that I've made. If I go more on that kind of thing, like I just described, then I can make that shit like as I can be as unapologetic as I want to. Um, yeah. Look at me making chords and shit. If Nate was here, he'd be proud. Do, 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 do. I am. Sounds good. I was just kidding, but yeah. I think they're pretty shitty, to be honest, but they work. At this point, I'm just writing to write. few streams ago, I was like, like I find that the most success that I've had is I make three kinds of basses. I make one that's just like a sub, like a distorted sub. I make another one that has the tonal or like the fundamental, but with all of the neuro movement and shit that I want. And then I have a third like, and all three of these. Well, the first one is like a functional bass. The second one is quote unquote like a you know a sound design jam, and the third one is just experimental resamples. And what I usually do is create a riff or something using all three, where I just throw them all into a sampler and then automate where they start, because that way, that's how I wrote Your Virulence. Like, unfortunately, Bitwig just has some really stupid shit, but with this, like, most of it is just sub work, and then I have a couple of like interpretive phrases, you know, like all that. Like I didn't come up with that myself, you know. So I just like did the cool little bass phrases or whatever, and then put them into the sampler, and then I used the phase plan to automate the start. But even that was like pulling teeth with Bitwig, because its automation is hella inaccurate and will like reset the fucking, it'll change with the playhead almost every time you replay it, which is so annoying. But yeah, I found a lot of success doing it that way. And then on like the fourth go, you know, I'll resample little individual elements of what's already on there. But yeah, it's a son of a bitch to do that shit sometimes. Oh, really? Oh, maybe so. That's a good point. I never thought about that. I honestly, like, one thing I also want to improve on is like phrasing of subs. Like, because if you listen to a lot of electronic music, I think that like a hidden uh like a hidden mechanic or hidden thing that people do, which is gonna sound super fucking obvious, but I actually think that there is a lot of either automation or velocity control with phrasing of the sub, unless if it's like trap or whatever, but and not just like fletching, right? Where it's like, okay, you just roll off the mids. Yeah, that's really interesting. Maybe tomorrow I'll have a go at Ableton, and then we'll like do some kind of beat cookup or something. Because I haven't touched Ableton in a long time, and I kind of want to make sure that I'm still familiar with it. Or we could just do some more auto-tune and just do cocaine. Cocaine. Snort. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yo, dang, what we doing, man? Oh, man, shit, bro. I still would love to have Wait, raise your hand, anybody in chat. Does anybody have Mario Kart World? I'm not gonna lie, the last few Ableton updates have been pretty good. I like the new filter stuff, like that finally addressed a couple of issues that I had. I still wish, like, I still wish that there was a more elegant solution to, well, a couple of things. Are you all ready for my Ableton soapbox once again? Hopefully this doesn't crash, but hello? Hello? Why is that making sounds when I click? Okay. Yeah, so right now this is only coming out of the right side of the speaker. I know. I know. I know. I know. I know. I know. Listen. Guy, dude, I know. I could see it. This happens every fucking time. Every fucking time this happens. Every time I open up Ableton, this does this dumb shit. And I have to go back and I have to fix this. For one, I have to change this into mono, and then I have to go back and apply my filters again, which just fucking drives me insane. That shit is so annoying. That wasn't even the complaint that I was about to get on. All right, bear with me for a sec. Sally Sue sells seashells by the seashore. How's that? I can't hear my own voice, so is that okay? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add another one here, just because for whatever reason the way that my teeth anatomy are structured is just the most sibilant fucking on the planet. So I'm gonna use smooth operator. Smooth operator. Salty, 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 salty. Hey, Cloud. Double OTT. Okay, I think everything is fixed. I hope. Is the audio okay? It should be like -8. And then I think that I can turn this back up. Yeah. Sally Sue sells seashells by the seashell. Okay. All right. So one of the biggest complaints that I have with Ableton is cocaine. We're getting there. We'll get there. Don't worry. Is actually with EQ8. And the problem that I have with this is the modulation. Because if I put an LFO on this, God, no, no, I am not fucking using Ableton tomorrow. Jesus. Dude, I don't know how anybody fucking still uses this shit. If you've ever experimented with, okay, sorry. All right, so something that really drives me crazy is if we map this, why doesn't this show? But here's the thing, if you switch this over to a remote, then it, like, for one, you have to do it based off of a percentage, but you can't, like, adjust this now. So you have to click back on mod and then move this over and then be like, okay, let's do that here. There's so much wrong with Ableton. Where do I fucking begin? Yeah. That is so stupid. That is so dumb. Okay, that's issue number 1. Issue number 2. And this is also an issue that I uptake with ProQ as well. I love this feature. This is great for bass. Amazing. Amazeballs. Here's the issue. You can highlight all of these and you can move them together, but there's no fucking dedicated knob that you can shift everything at once. And then if you try to do it with a macro or something, like let's say I go Command G, you can't map them all together and make them do the same thing. I thought LFO does have, or FL does have LFOs with peak control. Yeah, it's like, dude, why can't I not just go boom and then like select all these and then be like, I don't know, right click, map to macro 1 or something. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like that's so fucking irritating. So doing any kind of modulation with this is just like almost not worth it. Okay. Again, here's my other issue. Here's meld. Here's wavetable. Here is what, roar? So you essentially have to learn 3 different, like, all of these are different. Why? Why are all these different? Like, why are you trying to be all cute and shit? Like, this is not fun. I don't like that, like, there's all these cool modulation sources on these, and you have to relearn each different one in order to, like, set any of this stuff up. You have random over here. Also, this is, this noise right here thing is random, but it's not included within this. And it's like, dude, like, it's so ass backwards. Like, this is so convoluted now with just how it all works. Now, to people that are used to working within Ableton, it's not a big fucking deal because we've learned how to do all this shit. But from a person learning this whatsoever, this is a nightmare. This, like, all of the modulation sources and stuff should be, like, global. It should be the same thing across, either externally or like everything is kind of built in within a tab or something. And that's why I appreciate Bitwig so much, is because it's like, dude, here is a fucking LFO. Put it wherever you want it. Did this freeze? No, it didn't. Okay, it almost froze. Yeah. Here's an LFO. Do whatever you want with it. And all of the other devices that are included within Bitwig Studio, say like FM4. Look, there's no crazy modulation that's cluttering this because it's all done here. If we look up organ, no crazy modulation. The only exception is a filter envelope, but that is across the globe. So if you look at this with the filter envelope here, we're just going to focus on this part because I know all this stuff looks a little bit convoluted if you haven't seen it before. But filter envelope or AEG, wait, what is that? Audio envelope generator. I don't remember what this is. Hey, I don't remember what this is. Thanks. What is this? Amplitude envelope. Okay, so an envelope follower. I learned some, you know what I mean? Like, that's, yeah. There's no wavetable maker in either of these DAWs. That's stupid. You can only import like serum wavetables in this, I think. And this is corrupted more times than I would like to admit. Just, fuck, man. Drives me crazy. Just basic shit like that. Oh, yeah. And editing multiple audio clips at once. Don't fucking get me started. My friend Ritzy and I used to beatbox, or like we used to do rap battles, and the way that we would start off is yo, 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 don't get me started, which is pretty funny. So yeah, let's say I want to edit multiple clips at once, right? And I go doing. It only does it one at a time. Only does it one at a time. I do think that if you double click on this, this will pitch everything up together, if I'm not mistaken. So I do think that you can go, yeah, so you can pitch everything. But as a means of editing the audio clip or also doing like a scrub, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's only one clip at a time. It's like, dude, why do you have half of the function on here? Half of it is functional. Half of it is functional. I don't think it is. Seeing if I can find a loop. Okay. There's no slice in place. That's another thing that's like really dumb. Okay, that does work. Okay, that's nice. All right. Okay. They get a bone. They get a bone. But not being able to edit multiple fades at once and then having to open this up, I think that most people are really put off by the inspector control, but having this always on the side to where like you don't have to double click every time you want to edit a clip is actually such is like such a workflow improvement if you work in audio. Cause look, wait, hold up. You do this. Let me grab this. Dude, yeah, if I have Ableton and Bitwig open at the same time, like this just wants to take a shit and they literally fight each other. But look. Fades. Or sorry, clip editing. Fades. If I want to pitch everything up, it's already here. I don't have to double click. If I want to, I can, you know, adjust the pitch, but it's already like ready to go. No. Does Ableton have normalize? Show similar files. No, it does not. Wait, I think it does actually. I think you double click on this and then I think that there's a thing here that will high Q transform. No, maybe not. Oh, okay, yeah, it is there. Can you set a keyboard shortcut to that? But yeah, wouldn't it be nice if you could just right click that and then go normalize? You can't do that. You have to do one at a time. One at a time. I'm being dramatic. But yeah, that shit is, that's like just enough to drive me fucking crazy. Also, how do I get rid of this? Groove pools are stupid. I know a lot of people like groove pools. I think they're dumb. There we go. Stupid groove pool. Oh, hello, bug. Nice. What other problems do I have with this fucking program? I don't know. It's not like deal breaking. It's just frustrating, and you kind of come to realize that you're like, wait, what's going on here? Oh, wait, what? What the fuck? Yeah, and then the last thing, which I have already talked with Artifacts about several times, is just having to map within map, like having to map a macro within a macro is extremely frustrating. It's moments like these that make me like FL's slightly wonky audio workflow. See the little yellow squares at the top left above the search thing? You can hide the group pool from there. Oh, this? Ah, got it. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. To kind of just prove my last point, or to demonstrate rather my last point, if I have something, let's just say amp, right, then I group that, then I want to break free. Yeah. If I want to create a dry wet on this, then I have to do a new chain like this. Then I have to go chain. Then I have to drag this out. Yeah, this shit's whack too. So you go from off to on, and then on to off. Then you can create a macro here to where you go map, 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 map. Oh, right, because you have to fucking map it here first. Ah, yeah, you got to do it within this first. So you go map, and then this has to map to this, and then this has to be mapped to macro 1. Find the key commands? I know the key commands. I've been using Ableton for like since 2014. So what, 12 years? Yeah, so having to do this to create a dry wet rack is pretty fucking lame. Oh, but I forgot. You also have to make sure that you turn this off by 1. And you have to make sure that you turn this off by 1. No, I know. And once you make it, it's like, okay, but you get what I mean? Like, this is what I was complaining about from before, about having to have a macro within a macro. That's my issue. Because this gets really confusing when you start to have multiple racks like this, and then you group this, and then you want to have several things here that you want to map to each one. So if you have like several groups, then you have to go to here, and then you have to figure out the routing on this, which I'm going to have to remind myself of again. So yeah, map to macro 1. But it all has to be aligned like this. So this has to be nested within this, has to be nested within this. Yeah, I'm just reiterating because I think last time I ran into something where I was trying to show this to you, and like there was something that actually panned out. But doing it again like this with these different things, I'm like, yeah, I get it. And there are some things that no matter what DAW you deal with, you're going to have to deal with some bullshit. But I will say, like, dude, how fucking convenient is it to, like, God, please, to do this, and then check this out. This is so nice. Oh my God, mix. Like, and then look, you group this, and then you set a macro here if you wanted to, or you could just create one. Sorry. And this can go on anything. So you can set that here, set that all the way up, and then now look, that's there. And so if you have multiple layers of this, like the setup is just so much easier. It's so much more flexible to be able to adjust all of that. So I don't know. It's workflow enhancements like this that I'm like, hey, oops, this is not the way for this. Now I will say that if you have phase plant, none of this shit really matters except for the audio editing, which I would highly recommend. But something that I would like to do in the future is just like I really want to get to a point with DAWs to where I'm just using DAW stuff. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of awesome shit to love about Ableton. But it's things like this, and because I like to build racks and I like to have these things, it makes it very frustrating to work with. So that's my spiel. That's my spiel. Oh, and honestly, and this isn't necessarily Ableton's fault. This is just like a thing that Bitwig has. This little replacer that I have, this thing that is a live effect with 0 latency that transitions audio to MIDI, is one of the best fucking tools ever invented. I have found so many use cases for the replacer. It's like not just with mixing, but also with sound design as well. Like for creating percussion, for creating like artificial transients, vocoder stuff, layering. Like Danny was in here earlier talking about should he get that thing from Cable Guys or whatever, but this is essentially that. Like if you were to do this to where you go here and then you just put a sampler inside of this, like boom, there's your layer. So any incoming signal is going to create a MIDI channel, or is going to create a MIDI trigger rather. You can set whatever note you want to be on here. You can even do a melody if you want to, and then you can put whatever sample you want. So, and then you could do something like this, or you can do a selector. So you can group this. Actually what you would do is you'd go here, then you would group this. Then with this effects layer, you convert that to an effects selector. And then you have your knobs, or rather you can go macro. And then now you can pick your samples of what you want to do. Then you've got your source sample here, which is just the original signal. You can, you know, pick whatever you want. Yeah, I think it's hard. It's hard. I think that if you're not trying to do too much shit, then either one is going to serve the purpose for you. But it's only when you get into stuff like that where, you know, like if you're trying to make cool bass sounds or whatever in Ableton, like it's so much more difficult for me to get timbres and things that I'm happy with. Oops. I accidentally went live on the wrong thing. Let me just get that out. Okay, yeah. Well, since nobody's responding anymore, I'll get back to doing what I was doing. Sorry for that. That's just... Yeah. Okay. Anyways. No, I went live on a different thing by accident. That was it was a stream that was 1 second long, and so I was just like, oh, let me delete that. Somebody made a comment, love this, love this. Oops. Is replacer essentially a gate? I'm still new to all this. No, it takes an incoming signal and creates a MIDI note whenever it passes a certain volume. Hey, what's up, Graham? Not this one. Wait. Hey, thanks for the follow. Yeah, it's rolling sampler. Jumped in on live vid. I mentioned the clip's not able to control the clip fade out. Does Billwig even have create shared copy or ghost copy of clip event? Create shared copy or ghost copy? Sorry, what? Yeah, I'm a bit confused as well. I mean, yeah, like you could whatever you do to one like this, if they're all highlighted, it'll do the same. Like, look, maybe not with editing inside of the piano roll, but with editing clips like this, I think he's comparing it to FL Studio. That sounds like an FL feature. Clips control clip. But I mean, as far as I know, like, yeah, you just I don't know what exactly that means, but you could just duplicate. Or yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd have to figure out what that is. Whatever you do to one clip, as long as it's not editing within the piano roll, like whatever you highlight, whatever function you perform to this here, or with fades or with clips, we'll do it together. I think that it kind of makes a thing of like make them all the same or whatever kind of moot, because it's like doing the same thing, but it does this first. Yeah, it's the same for audio clips as well. But like whatever context you edit inside of a clip will be unique, but outside of the clip will be together as long as they're highlighted. And that's kind of how that works. Is it just the chord that sounds corny, or is it the sound itself? I'm not really sure, to be honest. No, Ableton doesn't have anything like that. Or what if I were to add a fifth to this? What would that sound like? Yeah, that sounds 10 times better. That fifth is nice, but I still want this to be, Does anybody have any questions? My hair. My hair. Come over here. Come over here. Hi, baby. You being good? Are you ready for dinner? You ready for dinner, sweet girl? You're so good. You're so good. Are we working on tricks? Do you remember how to speak? Are we working on speak? Can you sit? Good girl. Can you speak? Nope. Stay. Down. Sit. Sit. Speak. 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 Come on. Speak. She's like, I don't know what that is. Hey, DSP, what's up? Yeah, she's like, fuck you. Pretty much. I'm trying to get her to speak, but she's not doing it. But anyways, yeah. Does anybody have any questions on anything? It's about time for me to go and feed her and take her out and all the things. All the things. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm about to change my shirt. You good, puppy? You being good? Yeah? You being good? Are you being good? You're getting so excited? I'm catching the end of production stream. Yeah, but I mean, the stream is still here, you know? So you can refer back to what we did. I didn't make anything incredible today. Like lately, I've just been going off of anything and trying to make anything that comes into play. And can I walk my dog with halftime swung steps? Dude, it's more like she walks me. So I'll ask her to, you know, work on her rhythm. Appreciate the info. Sound design is crazy. Oh, thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Yeah, maybe next week or tomorrow or something, I'll get back into doing some more projects like I want. It's been really fun and really, like, I've been having a good time just making anything, you know, making a sound and being like, oh, okay, let's go with this. But I'm going to be listening to a lot of Ivy Lab and a lot of other like beat tape-esque things and really trying to get down. That little snippet I played is pretty hard. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I realized that it's much louder than I thought it was. It's not bad, but it's just kind of like, eh. Yeah. Like, I think the chords can use some work, and I don't know. This feels like a chill track, and I want this to be of like, I want to get back into the, you know, like, that's the kind of shit that I'm like ready to come back to. So I don't know. This will be, I'll put this together at some point, but watching at work and up the volume when I was speaking, and then I got I am so sorry. I did not mean to do that. Is this the track way louder than, because it should be relatively the same or close to it anyways. Yeah, like I try to balance this like right at the yellow. What is? That probably needs to. The fact that I have shitty PC speakers and the track obviously covers more of the frequency spectrum. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Would it be better if I turn this down to where, because ear grape is not my intention on this. I just balanced it based off of strictly volume, but you do have a good point. But yeah. Anyway, that'll be where I step off. I'm going to feed my lovely pooch because she deserves nothing but the best dinner. And then I'm going to play some games. If you all want to hang out on Discord, maybe I'll pop in because Corey's not going to be home until later tonight. So we're chilling like a villain. But yeah, much love. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody. I'll catch you later. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, maybe. Bye, everybody. Alckemy.com. All the sounds that I used today, all these drums, were in my latest sample pack. I'm sorry. I had to do that. Might pop in on Discord later if y'all on there because time zones. It's 6:50 p.m. over here, so I'll be around for a bit. Bye, everybody.